Niki Lauda 76 am Nürburgring, Marc Surer 86 bei der Hessen-Rallye, Gerhard Berger 1989 in Imola, Jos Verstappen 1994 in Hockenheim und Romain Grosjean vor 2 Jahren beim Grand Prix von Bahrain. Feuerunfälle sind seit vielen, vielen Jahren die große Angst im Motorsport, und dieses Wochenende bei der DTM am Lausitzring hat es im zweiten Qualifying Felipe Fraga im AF-Corse-Ferrari erwischt. Wir haben uns am Dienstagnachmittag ausführlich mit Felipe Fraga unterhalten, als der schon wieder in den USA war, wie er denn die brenzligen Momente im Cockpit erlebt hat. Und davor haben wir bei AF-Corse Sportdirektor Ron Reichert nachgefragt, ob man denn nun schon wisse, was den Zwischenfall mit dem Feuer überhaupt verursacht hat.
Noch nicht genau genug, um in irgendwelche Details hier zu gehen. Nach so einem großen Feuer ist natürlich sehr, sehr viel beschädigt, und für uns ist erstmal wichtig, jetzt zurück in den Workshop zu gehen, das Auto komplett zu zerlegen in alle Einzelteile, eine volle Analyse zu machen und nicht jetzt auf Teufel komm raus irgendwie eine Richtung zu zeigen. Das ändert nichts. Ja, Felipes Auto hat leider im Qualifying Feuer gefangen. Hätte ein schöner Tag für ihn heute hier im Office werden können. Wurde sehr schlimm für ihn der Tag. Und leider so ein großer Schaden am Auto, dass wir eben nicht in der Startaufstellung mit seinem Auto stehen. Deswegen kurzes Wochenende für den Felipe. Gestern leider auch keine Punkte für ihn. Ja.
You had some very frightening moments at the DTM qualifying at Lausitzring. It was very hot. Please talk us through those situations when the fire was on.
Yeah. With the fire was I was just trying to warm my tires, getting the car ready for the lap, and in turn 6, it's the last moment when you do the brake and check all the temperatures, all the pressure. And suddenly I lose the power. There was like a lot of alerts in the car, new alerts that I never saw before. So I went in the radio, spoke to the engineer quickly to tell him the alerts, and then he was trying to tell me what to do to reset the system and these things. But then I started to feel like hot temperature in my back, because the fire was not in the cockpit, but close to it. Then, I saw the fire, so I immediately just unplugged the radio, untied the belt, and I tried to park the car closest to the marshals. This was it. When I went down the car, I saw the fire was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And this was it.
How concerned have you been when it was getting hot? How did it feel? You must have been a little bit afraid as well, maybe.
Yeah, a little bit afraid, but it was okay. It was not that bad. Like from the car in the moment it started, it was worse when I got out of the car, because the fire kept going. Like I tried everything to try to put it down, but it was fire with fuel, so it was bad. I think we had to have like a big fire truck there to avoid that amount of fire. But I was not afraid. It's not like a movie, so the car will not explode, we know it. But it was bad, like to see the car in that way. It hurts a lot.
Were you able to use a fire extinguisher in the car? So is there a system where you can push the button and or does it even make sense to do that?
Yeah, the first moment when I went out the car and I saw the fire, I tried to open the door again to put the extinguisher off the cockpit in. But the thing is that the fire was not inside the cockpit. So, at this point I was trying to save the rear of the car, because then maybe they could change the engine, like I was already thinking about the race at that moment. So it's like, if it's just the part behind, because if you activate the extinguisher inside the car, it's a lot of work to take all the extinguisher out. It takes hours. I had that in the past in stock car, that it was pressed by mistake, and it took like 5 hours to dry the car and make it ready. So I was just trying to keep it in my eyes. But then, yeah, the fire in the back of the car was just massive. And yeah, and then you guys saw it on TV.
Have you ever been in such a situation before already?
Not that big. First time, yeah.
Yeah, you were a real hero when you first jumped out of the car, and then it took a long time until anything happened. But then you took the fire extinguisher from the marshal and ran back to the car and tried to save it. Yeah, how were those moments for you?
I was just desperate, you know. It's hard, to be honest. It was one of the days I was most sad in my career, because when you have like bad weekends, you know, just by performance, or like puncture of Saturday, or like the crash of the start in Portimao, I'm really okay mentally for that, you know. Like, these things happen, and I'm really always easy with this. It's just, you know, I switch the page and go for the next one, because some stuff sometimes they are out of our control. So I think you just waste time suffering with it, you know. So I'm really positive personally. But with the fire was hard, you know, because you see your car, like your baby, getting in fire, and then it's many feelings going through your head, like it's all the hard work from the team, and everything we know it's bad, and it's hard. Yeah, it was really like unacceptable looking the car on fire in that way. But I mean, I don't think it's many stuff that could be done to avoid. And yeah, now we need to move forward and wait for the next races.
Yeah, it was a heartbreak moment as well when you had the TV interview and there were tears coming from your eyes. It was very obviously that you were, yeah, it was a very emotional thing for you.
Yeah, in the interview I was already okay, man. Before, like when I was with the team in the truck, it was bad. Like, it was hard, because also not only because of the fire, you know, because Lausitzring for me was a new track. I never been there before, um, and I had only like 45 minutes, 2 sessions. You know, like you have more less than an hour inside the car to learn everything in the track in a field like that. So I know it would be a really hard weekend for me, more for me, you know, like not for the team, because the car was really good, but it was going well. Like, in the quali Saturday, I did I did a P5, and I was so happy with it, because I knew I was still learning a bit the track, so for sure it could be a good race. Then in the race we did well. I think it was possible a top five, and I was just trying to score points, you know, because I knew if we do points in Lausitzring, you know, do a safe, easy weekend, I was confident for the future, because then all the tracks next I know. So it's a different story when you jump in a track that you know, you've been there before. So it was like more like heartbreaking for that, for the points I've missed it in the weekend. Then the puncture on the race, and then the fire on Sunday. So yeah, we lose a lot of points for sure. And yeah, but as I said, you know, like Imola is next, so I'm already looking for Imola.
Yeah, other drivers would have been very disappointed and would have left the track immediately after such a thing happening. Still, you stayed with the team. You were in all the debriefings and everything. Yeah, what gives you that that mental approach, and also to stick to a team and to stay there till the end?
Yeah, yeah, I see many people talking about it, but honestly, for me, it's just normal. You know, it's not because I am in DTM or with Red Bull now. This is who I am everywhere. You know, like I think it's part of our job to be 101% professional. Uh, it's it's big stuff behind us, big sponsor, big team. it's Red Bull, it's Ferrari, it's AF-Corse. It's so many people working just to deliver a good car, a good racing car for me, and a good experience. So I think it's just my job, like to be there, because at the end, even if I was not racing, I was still able to work with the team from outside of the car, and I can also help a little bit the team. And at that moment, we were just focused on Nick, because we also have the team championship, and we wanted him to do well. So yeah, that's I think it's my obligation.
Do you expect to get a new car now after the incident?
Well, yesterday I was in the plane, the whole day, and today, like, I wake up few minutes ago because I'm 7 hours behind. Have news from that. I believe the team is going back to Piacenza, so I don't know. For sure, engine, all the back of the car has to be changed. But they already told that they have a car, they have new cars if needed, and I'm sure they will do the best. If they feel we need a new car, I'm sure, like Red Bull and AF-Corse, they will not, make it hard. It's just they say to me, like, man, don't worry, it's just a car. We will get a new one if needed. I would like just to change the engine, to be honest, because I really love that car. It was since I jumped on it. But, like, I think they will analyze, because the thing is, if the fire were too much on the chassis, so maybe the chassis could be damaged, by the softness of the car and everything. So, yeah, I think now is we let AF do their job and make sure we will be fighting in Imola.
Gleich geht's weiter mit dem Video. Wenn es euch gefällt, dann drückt doch unten bitte auf den Like-Button, damit ihr auch in Zukunft kein Video über die DTM mehr verpasst. Wir haben mit Felipe Fraga nicht nur über den Feuer-Zwischenfall gesprochen, sondern auch über sein Treffen mit Max Verstappen und über Felipe Massa, der ihm ja zu seinem Podestplatz in Portimao gratuliert hat und der ja laut Gerhard Berger ein Kandidat für die DTM ist. Also vielleicht kommt es ja bald tatsächlich zum Aufeinandertreffen von Felipe Fraga und Felipe Massa in der DTM. Yeah, even your fellow countryman Felipe Massa congratulated you after the first weekend. He said to Gerhard Berger, I was talking to Gerhard, and he said that Felipe Massa is interested to also join DTM and drive in DTM. Will we see the two of you fighting in the future maybe? Would it be interesting for you?
Yeah, Felipe is like, he's a hero in Brazil, all this F1, he did. Since I was like 7-8 years old in go-kart, he always been like congratulating me and sending messages. We are quite close, and especially now because AF-Corse runs Ferrari, and he's like a big Ferrari guy. So there's a couple performance engineers from Ferrari that worked with Felipe in the past. So we had a few moments that he sends some messages to the guys and say, like, hey, take care of Felipe, of me in case. So it's also a good message, from a guy like him for the team. So it's extra trust from the team in myself. And yeah, it would be great to have Felipe in the grid. He's doing stock car now, so he's driving some touring cars, and he's fast. So it would be really nice if he comes to one of the races.
Yeah, and he's doing what you did in the past, so that might be a good way of heading for DTM as well.
Yeah, I think it would be nice, especially why not he comes in a Ferrari car. He's been in Ferrari so many years. But I didn't knew that. I didn't knew that Felipe and Berger was speaking about come to a DTM race. I'm gonna message him to
Yeah, you were driving. I think it was in 2012 when you were doing the Formula Renault, and you were actually with your teammate then with Nick Cassidy. But there were also some very, very well-known drivers that we now see in Formula One. There was Pierre Gasly, there was Alex Albon, and there was also Esteban Ocon. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about your memories from those times fighting against those drivers that are now at the peak of motorsports.
Yeah, it was quite surprising because I didn't remember that he was there. We were when we met each other, we were speaking about our past, what we've been done and etc. And he spoke that he was in Formula Renault in 2012, some rounds. So I said, which round? Then we figured out we did the same race in Nürburgring together. But at that time I didn't knew who was him. Like after, yes, I was following Super GT, Super Formula. I know he's a superstar and really fast driver. And yeah, in Formula I had one season in Europe in that year. It was good. I finished the Alps, I think, in 7 or 8 in the championship. I did podiums in the Alps, did podiums in Euro Cup, and it was nice. It was a good experience in Formula cars. I think I had a little bit more potential to show, but the sponsor at that time was hard, and also for the Brazilians when we come to Europe, it's also hard because of the currency. So you don't test a lot. Normally the Brazilians go as a rookie and they are a true rookie. They go for the races. And at that time I remember like Nick De Vries, Ocon, Gasly, like Van Dorn, Kvyat, all these guys. They were already in the big teams. They had support from F1 teams. So they were testing a lot. Like I remember even with some teammates, like they would do 5 sets of new tires in one day, and I would do 1 or 2 to save a bit of the budget. So it's hard to compete in this way. But yeah, great times. But after my career went more to the way of GT, and yeah, this is where we are now.
And this was also a financial thing in the end, because I think you showed the potential. You could have been in Formula One in theory. Is Formula One still on your mind somehow, or did you decide to really go for the GT thing and do this route?
To be honest, a few years ago, I completely have no intention for it. I'm pushing hard to be in a good position in GT. Now I'm driving also LMP3 in US, because I want to let the doors open for bigger projects, which is like the new era of motorsport that is coming, LMDH, hypercar, all these things. So right now I'm 100% with my energy on what I'm doing, like it's DTM, it's GT, it's hypercar, LMDH. I really wish I can have opportunity for these projects in the future. And in Brazil, everyone is crazy about F1 because of Red Bull, but we know like this is completely other dimension. So I don't spend my energy thinking about it. Like I want to do well, prepare myself, make good races, and we never know, the future. We never know what can happen. Like you see stuff with so many drivers, they go out, they come back, and some unexpected people come to some series. As you said, that I was a bit off the radar for DTM, So last year I didn't expect that I would be in DTM this year. So I think the right way is just to keep pushing, and those things, they come to us.
Yeah, you're traveling a lot. You're doing IMSA. Of course, you're doing DTM, also doing Le Mans. But how are you dealing now with the living situation? Because you had the idea, I think, also to move to Austria and to live close to this Red Bull training center in Thalgau. Is that still on your cards? Is that still your plan to do it like that? And are you living there already?
Well, now I'm like a gypsy, like just traveling around the world. So I'm organizing, or Austria, or something in Europe. I've been planning this. Even Augusto is helping me out, maybe in Monaco as well. So I'm still studying, but I'm organizing already. I quit and sold all my stuff already in US. So I'm moving for sure somewhere. Also, my fiance is coming from Brazil, so we are trying to organize. You know, it's not simple to move, but I'm gonna be back in Austria soon. I think for the training center again, because I'm still in touch with the nutritionists and the training guys. So I'm pushing when I'm not racing. So let's see. Yeah, I probably be there in 3-4 months again. You know, for some tests again. But yeah, for sure I need to be in Europe, and this will happen soon.
Yeah, and the opportunities with Red Bull are great, I think, in this training center, and also with this support from the specialists.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, if you be there, it's even better. But they also have a really good support from, like, this weekend. Stefan is like one guy from nutrition is there, and he was writing me like, "Hey, everything is good with you. What you doing?" So we are always connected, even if I'm not there. So this is also like a support from Red Bull out of the track that not many drivers have it. So it's really good, and I appreciate it.
Did you already meet Max Verstappen in Thalgau? Was he there when you were there?
No, not in Talga. No, I just met once in 2016 in stock car. No, not stock car, in F1. I went there for we did an interview together, but that was it.
How was your meeting with him? What was your impression of him, and how do you see him?
Yeah, at that time it was just a funny interview because I was having my final race in Brazil, in stock car in Interlagos, and he was racing there. So we were just making jokes like that. Maybe a Brazilian guy could give him some tips to Interlagos. I think I don't need to give tips to Max Verstappen. You know, like we are not close friends, and it's hard to go to Talga and find drivers. You know, because of the calendar. So it's never been there with other drivers, just me and Nick this time, and the other times I was just alone there by myself.
Yeah, next on the agenda for you, now you're in the US, but then the next thing will be your I think it's your 4th Le Mans appearance actually already. You've also been there in this great Ford GT car. What were your memories of Le Mans, and what does this race mean to you, and what are your expectations?
Oh, Le Mans I think is the nicest race, you know, in the world. It's so cool. I love it. I'm really like grateful that I'm gonna be there for the 4th year in a row. Like since I did my first appearance, I've been always there. So I have only the best memories from there, man. Like in 19 we won the race, then we got disqualified. But you know, I was in the podium. I lived all the experience of a winner of the month. So for me, it's great memories. What happened after the race is just not under my control. So for me, I still won the race. So in 2020, then I raced Porsche. 2021 with Aston Martin. I did also P2 last year. We almost won. It was like a tight fight against the AF-Corse. But yeah, this year I'm gonna join Ferrari. First time for me in the GT Pro, which is nice, you know, to do this upgrade in the class. And they're also very, very nice because I'm gonna share the car with Shane van Gisbergen, which I'm a huge fan because I follow a lot supercars in Australia, and it would be nice to share a car with him. And we both Red Bull, so this would be great. And also Sunbird is joining us, which is, you know, big driver like Formula E. I remember also when he was in Formula Renault 3.5. He's a really good and fast driver. He's been working a lot with Ferrari in these past years. So it will be a great experience, I think, to share the car with these two guys.
Yeah, so all the best to you for that. Do you think the DTM title it's still on the cards, even though you had a difficult start of the season? Is this still something you are heading for?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think yes. I think it's still so many races. You know, like you see, I was just walking with a guy from Red Bull in the grid this week on Sunday after the grid, and we were seeing like these drivers like in P18, P20, like big names, you know. and we were like, man, look this, you have this kind of guy here on the part of the grid. So it's so hard, the competition there. It's been really great, and I think we will fight for it. I think we have a good performance. We are really doing well as a team, and as I said, it's still like 12 races to go. It's so many points. You see, like Sheldon, he didn't do very well in Portimao, and then this weekend he just leave the race with in the leader of the championship. So I think it's a lot to happen still.
Zum Abschluss wollen wir euch noch unser ausführliches Videointerview mit DTM-Boss Gerhard Berger ans Herz legen, das wir nach dem Saisonauftakt in Portimao mit ihm geführt haben. Denn darin erzählt er, dass nicht nur Felipe Massa ein Kandidat für die Formel 1 ist, sondern dass noch ganz andere Ex-Weltmeister und Motorsportgrößen Interesse an einem DTM-Start bekundet haben.